Hi everyone, it's Natasha and thank you so much for stopping by. So this is my final journey in regards to my lactation supplement experiment. So I do have a lot of notes on it, and I'm gonna start off with, because there's a few parts of it. I think it's a 3-parter, but I just want to put it all in one video because it has been a stressful event. So just so you guys know, if you haven't known, I have been pumping since my son was a day old or 2 days old. I was still in the hospital. The hospital actually lent me their hospital pump machine and pump accessories. They gave those to me because you can't reuse that. It's a biohazard. So anyway, fast forward. So I'm gonna start off day 1 in this particular journey. What I did was I used Legendary Milk's Lactivist. I did 1 full dropper with 1 to 2 fluid ounces of warm water in it. Warm or hot water, as long as it's warm or hot enough that I can drink it. What I would do is I would heat the water first. I would just microwave the water. And in case anyone is wondering, we have the reverse osmosis, so it's, I was told it's the cleanest water you can get. So I do that, and after that I put a full dropper of the Lactivist in there. And I believe I did that 3 times a day. I also took Legendary Milk's Cash Cow, 2 capsules 3 times a day. I also took, and this is in this particular journey, this leg of it, I was taking Mommy Knows Best Goat's Rue. That is 350 mg per capsule, and I did 1 capsule 3 times a day. And I'll explain why I did that. I also took moringa. It's 425 mg per cap, and I did 1 cap 3 times a day, as well as alfalfa. The moringa is right here. It's a Vitacost brand. This is the cheapest that I could find. I've been a loyal Vitacost customer for several years. So I've tried and tested their other products, and they've always been spectacular. This is the alfalfa, which is just a now brand. I did get this on Amazon. It was slightly cheaper versus going at Vitacost. So it's alfalfa leaf, 500 milligrams per capsule. And I took that 3 times a day. So I took this for 7 days, just this compilation. So this is what I noted down. Creaminess in milk did not change from just taking Lactivist or just Cash Cow. The fat is heavier. The fat is heavier or thicker. The fat content didn't increase. I have been able to feed at least 30 minutes to a little over an hour per breastfeeding session. And just so you know, I think that was because my letdowns weren't really like fluid and fast. I think it was very like, I don't know, it's more spread out, I would think, and I'm gonna explain that later on and why I believe that. In day 2 and 3, I've noticed my breast seems bigger and fuller. Day 6, I've noticed that fat to be thicker or creamier than before. Each day, I can see a little bit more increase in quantity. Not a giant leap, however, but progress is still progress. So I did that for 7 days. And there were, as I have noted, there was a slight difference from 2nd to 3rd day, as well as it changed around day 6. So I'm thinking there's a difference in my body. In 2 to 3 days, I see a difference. At day 8, let's see, I changed that. And so what I did was I did Lactivist 1 dropper 3 times a day, Cash Cow 2 capsules 3 times a day, Alfalfa 1 cap 3 times a day, Black Seed, which is, I also got this on Amazon, and everything is going to be linked down below, so you don't have to take notes. If you want to, go ahead. But all the links are down below. So Black Seed, I did 1 cap 3 times a day. Goat's Root, it was still 1 cap 3 times a day. Moringa, 1 cap 3 times a day. So essentially in this series, what I would do is I would change one thing at a time to know which one worked the best with my body. So if I was like, I added the Black Seed, right? So I didn't change anything else. I didn't change how many capsules in the other kinds. I just added 1 cap of Black Seed. So I didn't really see a big difference in day 1 and 2 for that sequence. That's why I changed it. That's why I only did 2 days, because usually I see a difference around day 2, the earliest. And since I didn't, and I'm sure anyone who is breastfeeding will understand the same thing. When you are in this type of situation, what you want to do is you want it now, you want it now, you want it now. And for waiting for 2 days is a lot of work. And just so you know, when I was doing this, every time I would breastfeed my baby, I would pump. I would pump between half hour to an hour and 10 minutes. And that is very, very stressful on your body. So it's kind of counterproductive in a way. But I still did it, because everybody was telling me, the lactation consultants, when I would go to my Facebook groups, a lot of people would say, you know, I pump all the time, pumping will increase it, so I'm pumping after every time I breastfeed my baby. So day 3, I did Legendary Milk Lactivist 1 dropper 3 times a day, Legendary Milk Cash Cow 2 capsules 3 times a day, Alfalfa 1 cap 3 times a day, Black Seed 2 capsules 3 times a day, Goat's Root 1 cap 3 times a day, Moringa 1 cap 3 times a day. I changed the Black Seed. So day 3, didn't notice anything. Day 4, I noticed I would keep getting milk out. However, it's spread out. It won't be heavy let down. It's more a drop a minute here and there. I would still want my milk to be creamier, even though the fat on the top is thicker. So the fat would rise and separate from the milk, and the milk would become not very thick as I would prefer it. I mean, you want it to have a balance essentially, but I wasn't getting there yet. So I noticed the fat or cream on the top is the thickest. The milk in the bottom is still not as thick or creamy as I would like. So I did that for 3 days. Yeah. So the 4th day I did that in that sequence, I changed it again. So I did Legendary Milk Cash Cow 2 caps 3 times a day, Alfalfa 1 cap 3 times a day, Black Seed 2 caps 3 times a day, Goat's Root 1 cap 3 times a day, Moringa 1 cap 3 times a day, Red Raspberry Leaf 1 cap 3 times a day. And that is a dose of 9, that's a dose of 4, what is that, 480 per capsule, because it says 2 capsules is 960, so divided by 2. So I only did 1 3 times a day. So on day 5, before I started this sequence, ran out of Lactivist. That's why there is no Lactivist in this sequence anymore. And so on day 6, and this is the continuation of the previous 2. Started taking without Lactivist. So the first day that I only did this without the Lactivist now, breasts feel and seem smaller. Baby breastfeeds in a shorter amount of time. Used to supplement 4 to 6 ounces. Today was only 3 to 5 after breastfeeding. So my letdown was faster due to the red raspberry leaf. My baby seemed fuller compared to without the raspberry leaf. and for whatever reason, it seemed a little thicker from what my notes. Used to supplement 4 to 6, today is 3 to 5. It might not be a significant change because I am still supplementing, but to me, that was a significant change. 1 ounce is a big deal. 1 ounce to me, for my body, for my baby, is a big deal for me. I did that for 2 days. I switched it up again after 2 days. So what I changed it to Legendary Milk Cash Cow 2 caps 3 times a day. Alfalfa 2 caps now 3 times a day. Black seed 2 caps 3 times a day. Goat's Chew 1 cap 3 times a day. Moringa 1 cap 3 times a day. Red raspberry leaf 1 cap 3 times a day. Okay. So what I noticed on the first day I did this is prior to me taking the supplement though. My breast started to leak again. It hasn't done this in a while. The second day of the new sequence, I didn't pump all day because we went to a Raylana event. I will put the link down on my Raylana haul. I was planning on vlogging when I was there, but it was so chaotic. I just didn't have a chance to, because if I was vlogging, I might not have been able to buy more things that I would have needed for my baby. The third day I did this, I was engorged and leaking while breastfeeding per feeding. And again, before adding the red raspberry and changing all that stuff, that wasn't the case. I do think it's the red raspberry because I have tried it in a previous trial before, and to me, the red raspberry really does help with the letdown, and that is the description for that. It doesn't increase the volume. It doesn't increase the thickness of your milk or the creaminess. What it does, it helps the letdown. So it does seem like you are increasing in volume, because if you're only pumping for half an hour, the red raspberry leaf will make sure everything that you have at the time is going out when you're pumping or feeding your baby. If you are not taking the red raspberry leaf, it might feel or seem like the volume is lower because it might take an hour for your milk that was already there to come out without the red raspberry leaf, versus with it, it might come out within 10 minutes. So that's the difference from what I've noticed. So again, after 3 days in that sequence, I changed it up. I did Legendary Milk Cash Cow 2 caps 3 times a day, Alfalfa 2 caps 3 times a day, Black Seed 2 caps 3 times a day, Goat's Chew 1 cap 3 times a day, Moringa 2 caps 3 times a day, Red Raspberry Leaf 1 cap 3 times a day. Okay, so let's see. I do not believe I had... Yeah, I don't believe I had a big difference. So I didn't have any notes on it. No big difference. So after I did that for 4 days. 4 days I did that, and then I changed it to Legendary Milk Cash Cow 2 caps 3 times a day. I ran out of moringa. I ran out of alfalfa, not moringa. So it became Black Seed 2 caps a day. 2 caps 3 times a day. Goat's Chew 1 cap 3 times a day. Moringa 2 caps 3 times a day. Red Raspberry Leaf 1 cap 3 times a day. I did that for 2 days. Not a big... I saw a difference on the second day that I did that. My supply dropped significantly. The total was only 2 fluid ounces for the whole day. So that is actually like a big drop for me, because I would usually get 4 to 5. Or, I was getting 4 to 5, or around this time I was probably getting 3 to 4, and dropping, even if it's just a small significant amount, is a big deal for me. So after 2 days of that, I switched it up. So Legendary Milk Cash Cow 2 caps 3 times a day, Black Seed 2 caps 3 times a day, Goat's Chew 1 cap 3 times a day. Moringa 3 caps 3 times a day. Red raspberry leaf 1 cap 3 times a day. I did that for 2 days. If you haven't seen my previous videos in regards to all of these, what I have noticed is that there was no improvement when I only took less than 1,000 milligrams of moringa. If I took it even 800, 900 milligrams, there was no difference. For my body, I would get an effect at 1,000. I changed it up after 2 days, that's what I said. So this is my lineup now. Legendary Milk Cash Cow, 2 caps 3 times a day. Black Seed, 2 caps 3 times a day. Goat Chew, 1 cap 3 times a day. Milk Thistle, 1 cap 3 times a day. That would be this one. Moringa, 3 caps 3 times a day. Red Raspberry Leaf, 1 cap 3 times a day. I didn't see a big difference. No notation. I did that for 2 days. After that, I switched it up. So Legendary Milk Cash Cow, 2 caps 3 times a day. Alfalfa, 1 cap 3 times a day. Black Seed, 2 caps 3 times a day. Goat Chew, 1 cap 3 times a day. Milk Thistle, 1 cap 3 times a day. Moringa, 3 caps 3 times a day. Red Raspberry Leaf, 1 cap 3 times a day. I did that for 4 months. 4 days. Not a big difference. I changed it up again. So now it is actually my lineup right now is Legendary Milk Cash Cow, 2 caps 3 times a day. Alfalfa, 1 cap 3 times a day. No, 2 caps 3 times a day. Black Seed is 2 caps 3 times a day. And I just finished this bottle. And I'm thinking, because I didn't really see a significant difference without it, or, you know, with or without it. So I'm thinking I might not repurchase this. This is actually my second bottle. Goat Chew, 1 cap 3 times a day. Milk Thistle, 1 cap 3 times a day. Moringa now, I do 5 caps 3 times a day. And Red Raspberry Leaf is 1 cap 3 times a day. So I'm going to explain now why, my current situation. So the reason that I added the black seed was because Legendary Milk's Pump Princess has black seed in it. Black seed oil as their first ingredient, and then fennel, and then I think dill. I didn't really see a big difference with Pump Princess, but I thought I'd give it a shot because it did have fennel in there, and I thought maybe the reason that my body didn't respond very well to it was because of the fennel. I gave it 2 bottles. I still have a lot left, and it should be good for about 5 days. I already put it, I have those weekly vitamin organizers, so it's already dealt with. I think it's good for 5 days, and then I'm done, and I'm not going to repurchase that. This actually this wasn't very expensive at Amazon. I think it's less than $15 for 120 capsules, but just imagine, if you're taking this 2-3 times a day, that's 60. I mean, that's 6 a day. So you're only using 1 bottle for 20 days. Yeah, it goes by fast. So the reason that I added alfalfa was because the first ingredient to this one is alfalfa. And I have already changed the alfalfa because I thought this already has alfalfa, I'll just put 1. But I noticed that the alfalfa actually on Amazon is pretty cheap. I think it's $5 and change. So I don't mind having to take 2 of these. The reason that you really have to slow down with the alfalfa in the beginning is because if your body's not used to it, the alfalfa leaf, it could give you diarrhea, and that could also give diarrhea to your baby. So if you want to, let's just say you're using the alfalfa to boost up your supply, give your body 2 to 3, maybe 4 days, depending on your body, because you would know the best in your body. To me, 2 days is fine. 2 days, 1 capsule. If you don't see a significant difference and your body really responds within 2 days, if you want to add a second one 3 times a day, that's up to you. If you want to add another one, that's up to you. But make sure you don't take too much that you're gonna have diarrhea. And make sure, because if you're gonna have diarrhea, that will also go to your baby. It just means it has it's just very, really fibrous and it could give you diarrhea. So just be careful with the alfalfa. Second in the ingredient list here, let's see. So that's alfalfa, moringa, goat's rue, and nettle. I did not take any nettle anymore. I did have some. I threw them out. I actually had 3 bottles because it was on sale on Vitacost, and I just, I thought. I did try them again. I didn't note it down anymore. I did try them again for 2 days, and my supply dropped. So I'm like, you know what? Stinging nettle and regular nettle just doesn't work for my body. It doesn't produce like a higher amount, so I'm just gonna stop it all at once. So that's why. The reason I bought goat's rue is that it has really good it adds a lot of volume in your milk, and supposedly the creaminess as well. So it will help make your milk thicker supposedly, and the volume. From my experience with this one, I did mix it up with a lot of different things. With everything that I've noticed, my milk has gotten thicker, but I was also using, I was also taking alfalfa. I was also taking moringa. I think a little bit of the thickness too is actually from this. It does say to take it 4 times a day. I only take 3 times a day because I'm already taking this, the Legendary Milk Cash Cow, and it also has goat's rue. And this is expensive. This is the most expensive one out of the other ones that I buy. This is $30 for 120 capsules. And again, if you're taking this 3 times a day, so this is good. Actually, because I'm only taking this 3 times a day and only 1 capsule, this is actually good for me for 40 days. Yeah, 40 days. The moringa. So right now I am taking 5 capsules now because the 1,000 was fine, but I wanted to do more. So I do 5 capsules, which is 2,000. Minimum 2,000. I think it's actually 2,125 milligrams 3 times a day. What I've noticed though, since taking this, I do leak a lot more. And I would say I also leak. It's a combination with the red raspberry, but when I did make this higher, I've noticed that I do leak a lot more per session. Before I would only leak like in the first 2 feedings of the day. Later on in the day, I do not leak. What I've noticed with this, after taking it at least 2,000 milligrams 3 times a day, I would leak continuously in the other sessions of the day. I did a milk thistle because I think it was in, I don't know if it was Liquid Gold or milkapalooza that has milk thistle in it, and what I read was it's a good combination with the goat's rue. To me, I'm only taking this because it helps with my liver function. I'm trying to detox because when you are pregnant, your body is supplementing, like working hard to provide everything for your baby. It will take your body 2 years, minimum 18 months. If maybe you're like 18 years old or something, like really, really super young like that. But usually around 24 months. 24 months is when you really completely heal. Brain, organs, all that stuff. So I was thinking, because all of these supplements are herbal and a lot of them also do cleanse your organs, detox them. So I'm thinking I was taking this, and if it does help with my supply, like great, because this is like detoxing my liver. Every time I'm taking this is kind of helping that. I only take this 1 capsule 3 times a day. And does it help? I don't see a big difference. I don't see a great difference. So I'm really only just taking this for the liver detox. And what I've been doing with my research too is that you don't get, after 60 days of, they were doing experiments on lactating women and breastfeeding their babies and all that stuff. For 60 days, they did not see any significant difference in regards to volume or quantity or quality of breast milk that came out. But in that note as well, you also have to think of it this way. When your baby is breastfeeding from you, they are probably getting minimum 3 to 5 times more than when you're pumping. You have to think of it that way because we tried it in front of my lactation consultant. So what I would do at that time when we went there was I would pump. I would be pumping after I breastfeed my baby, and I would get, if I was lucky, 4 cc's or 4 milliliter after 20 to 25 minutes. Yep, it was really that low. I just felt so defeated. And this was, my baby was probably like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I'm sure it was like a month or less. I'm sure it was less than a month because I was still going to the lactation consultant periodically. And that itself was also stressful. So it was kind of counterproductive. So we were there. She timed my baby eating from me. So he was weighed before breastfeeding me in front of her and timing all that stuff. What they've noticed is that he gained 5 milligrams, which would be, I think she said he was able to take out 5 milliliters. No, 5 or 7 milliliters in a span of 5 minutes. That's a lot compared to how much I pump. Because initially when they were, I think my body just wasn't responding to the electric pump as well as when my baby would be eating from me. And mind you, at this time, he was even on the nipple shield. When you are on a nipple shield, I know I'm all over the place, but when your baby's on a nipple shield, you are not going to produce, or you are not going to be able to have a higher volume of letdown than you would be in the same amount of time as when you're not using a nipple shield. My baby had a very shallow latch. It just changed in the past month. Had a very shallow latch. So he would only do this. That's how he would suck from my breast. It was very painful, but it was so painful that it was literally toe curling painful. But not only that, because his latch was so shallow, it was also kind of hard for him to pull out any milk. So that's why we needed to use the nipple shield, because he was still hungry. My baby has been looked at few times. There was no, and there still is no, any lip tie, tongue tie, nothing. That's him coughing right now and just trying to get my attention. How are you doing? You doing okay? So anyway, so his method was he just had a shallow latch. That was the natural thing. There were no ties, no nothing. So essentially, if you're out there and you were me, and this took me a while to really wrap my head around, after you have a baby, a lot from your brain is taken out from you, and it does take a while for that to heal back. I am supplementing for that, just so my brain functions a little bit better than, looking like a robot with no batteries. And anyway, so when your baby breastfeeds from you, there is a tendency that they could be pulling out at least 3 times more, 5 times, sometimes even higher than that, than a pump would. Manual or electric, it doesn't matter, because there is something with the saliva of your baby. It's essentially giving out like a restaurant order on your nipples or you're on your areola, and that sends the signal up to your brain to actually produce what they need. When you're doing that with a pump, there is none of that. That is giving all those signals, all what is expected. So it will produce some, but not as much as it usually would when your baby is breastfeeding from you. So do not feel discouraged that what you're pumping isn't enough, because your baby might be pulling out more. Okay? But also watch your baby. Is your baby, are they gaining weight? Are they growing? Are they hitting milestones? Are they developing? Are they developing up to what they're supposed to be at that age? Are they having a lot of wet diapers? That's always the key. And are they also doing a number 2? That's also a key. When you are supplementing with formula, they should be doing a number 2 at least once daily. If you are completely just breast milk, there's a tendency they will not go every day. They might, but what I noticed when he would just only get supplemented with breast milk as well, what would happen is there would be a day, example, all day Monday he never touched formula. Tuesday he will not do a number 2, but Wednesday, let's just say Tuesday as well, that would also just be breast milk, no formula, supplement or not. Wednesday he would do a number 2, just once though. So that's a little difference. But if it's a lot more, you might want to talk to your doctor about that, because I remember she did ask about that, and she said it was okay for the 2 days because that's all we were doing. I wasn't able to produce enough to supplement for 3 days, but for 2 days I would be able to do that. So I wasn't able to see if I did it for 3 days, will he also not do a number 2, or will he do that? So anyway, right now, what has been happening in the past few days, just for an update on, from the response on what I'm taking. I am leaking. So my baby sleeps between 8 to 10 hours in the night. And he wakes me up, because he wakes up and he'll make sounds. It just makes me wake up. Sometimes when I'm like so dead tired, I won't really get up. And that's when he starts to cry and scream. But, usually I'm just already half awake. I'm just like so tired. So, what I've noticed, if I don't really wake up right away when he needs to, I will be leaking. I can feel my bra, my shirt getting wet. Excuse me. I do use the haka when I breastfeed him. It's not every session, but it's I breastfed him today 3 times, I think now. 2-3 times. I don't know. And every time I had to do it. I remember just the previous time I breastfed him, he was feeding from this breast. And it was spurting out over here. Before I could get the haka on, it was spurting out. Like a squirt. I've never seen that before. I usually feel like a drip, like a slow drip. But that was the first time I've ever seen it just squirt out. I have a lot of things in my mind that I'm thinking, should I repurchase the cash cow, or should I just just because it has nettle in it and it doesn't seem that my body is responding to nettle correctly, so maybe I'll just keep purchasing the alfalfa. Moringa I'm good with, and the goat's root when I'm done with this. I still have a lot. Yeah, I still have a lot. I think it's half full. So I don't know how long I have with this. Do I still recommend all of these supplements. Yes, I still do. Everybody is different, and if you are willing to try it for yourself, for your sanity, for your baby, go ahead. If you don't want to, I'm not pressuring anybody to do anything that they don't want to do. And also, I would just like to put it out there. If you're one of those people that are like me and struggling, and you know, it stresses you out just to think about all this stuff. If you want to decide to just throw in the towel and stop breastfeeding altogether because it's so painful for you to do it, in emotionally, like psychologically as well as physically, that is your right to do that. Don't let anybody think otherwise. Don't let anybody feel like you're not doing your best as a parent, as a mother, because you choose the formula route. That's not the case. Your baby, as long as your baby is healthy, you're giving your baby the right amount of nutrients. If you're going with a formula route, that is not a bad thing. You are still a good mother. You are still a really good parent. The downside is that for whatever reason, something is testing you in which you're not able to give what other people are able to do, which doesn't mean that you are less of a mother or a parent than they are. It just means you just go in a different route. You just need to embrace it that way. And feeding your baby with a bottle is not a bad thing. I just want to put it out there because even me, I was asking for a different formula, something to do with formula, and someone really shamed me about it. Someone went out and just told me breast is best. And then I remember saying, you know what? I can't produce enough. That's why I need formula. I didn't say anything else, but to me, it was just, you know, we're all mothers here, or we're all women. And if you're not a mother, that's your prerogative. But if you are and you want to breastfeed, or if you don't, I mean, all these choices are your choices. As long as your baby is growing as they should be, is healthy as they should be, is being fed as they should be, is happy as they should be, then there should be no reason to shame anybody, regardless of what route they pick. That's just what I gotta say about that. So yet again, if you want to try this route, which a lot of people, it might be too stressful for them, and if you want to go the formula route, go right ahead. That's fine. If you want to go and do this and do what I've been doing, I still breastfeed my baby multiple times in a day, as well as supplement it with breast milk that does let down or formula. My baby is in an age that he can eat solids now, so I do mix that with the cereal. My breast milk, I don't give it to him in the bottle anymore. I just mix it with the cereal. So what I have noticed and what the doctors have said, if you are breastfeeding, great. If you're not, that's fine too. But if you are, and I have been sick a few times now, let's just say I haven't gotten the flu. My baby never got the flu. I had the chills. I didn't get a fever. He did, but his fever only lasted for less than 24 hours. He wasn't in a great deal of pain, which I am so grateful for. I still gave him Tylenol as instructed by the doctor and Motrin for the nighttime. And in the later that night, actually, with a few doses of Tylenol that day, his fever did leave his body. But the next day, you know how it is. The next day, even if you might still be fine, there's still going to be residue about that. So the next day, I did give him the Tylenol, but instead of giving him 4 hours, every 4 hours, it was every 6 hours. And then the third day, there was no fever, so great for that. Now, the reason that a lot of people want to push breast milk is because you do get antibodies. Like, I was sick. He gets antibodies from all the things that I'm going through. So I think a few months ago, I had like a rash, dermatitis, and a lot of different other things. He would get antibodies for that. It's just if you become under the weather and you're breastfeeding, it actually helps your baby get protected because of that fact. I got the flu. I keep breastfeeding my baby. What happened? He he will get stronger from that. He was a little bit congested, but he was always a little bit congested. So that wasn't a big deal. He coughed from time to time, but he was also coughing a little bit before I got the flu. So that's not a big deal. He doesn't have a lot of mucus or phlegm in his throat, so that's fine too. So that was a big advantage. Now, if you were only formula feeding your baby, which, you know, as I've said, is okay. I think the only difference is probably your baby would be a little bit sicker, and probably will be a little bit longer than mine. But that's just a theory for me. You know, instead of 1 day, it might be 2 days. Instead of just having a fever, it might have a fever, congestion, and the chills. I don't know, since it's just speculation. So again, as we go back to the topic, yes, I still recommend everything for you to try. I would recommend this the way I did it. If you want to try this one first, you try it. If you want to add a secondary one, try it slowly and give your body time to adjust, like 2 days. 2 days to me is more of the impatient route. If you're a little bit more patient, you might want to do it like 4 or 5 days. But to me, I do notice that in 2 days, there is a difference. And that's also in the change of adding a different supplement or a different dose in the same supplement. You want to be able to see which works best for you. So all the links are going to be down below. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, you want to chit chat, you want to follow me on Twitter, on Instagram, all that is going to be down below. If you want to reach out to me confidentially, a lot of people have done that. You can do that by email. I have my email down below as well. If you want to check out other of my videos, if you have, feel free to do that. I have separate playlists for all my videos, so you don't have to watch all my videos if you're not interested in a specific topic. If you haven't yet, please hit the subscribe button down below, and do not forget to hit the bell, just so you'll be notified when I do get an email. I mean, when I do have an upload, I'm sorry. You'll be notified when I do have an upload. I hope you liked my video, that you're gonna hit the like button and share it with anybody that might benefit from this. The big reason why I did this essentially was 2 big reasons. One was for my baby. The second one was to make sure I was answering other questions out there for other people, because I have watched other videos in regards to breastfeeding, lactation, and all that stuff, and I've tried everything that has been out there, and they haven't worked. There's a person there that said, oh, I pump how many times in a day, and one person said, oh yeah, I took this supplement, I took this, and all of those didn't really work for me and my body. So I wanted to make sure that someone that might be experiencing what I'm experiencing, in which you're doing everything that you're being told to do, what you found online, what you found like Google searching and reading blogs, or reading pages and pages from different doctors and scientists, from your own pediatrician, from a secondary pediatrician, from 3 different lactation consultants, from nurses. This is my experience. From my husband reading, doing his own research as well, from sharing information through Facebook groups of breastfeeding moms, of moms in general, from all of that. And you know what? This is where it pushed me to go, because all the other stuff that people have encouraged me to do, they weren't working for my body. Why? I don't know. I pumped as often as I was told to do, 8 times. I even did it before 10 times in a day. This was because of the nipple shield. So, I think I haven't pumped in 2-3 weeks now. Someone told me about a month or so ago about it's really stressful on your body every time you pump. And I was still like really on the train of pumping every time after I breastfeed my baby. And just imagine this for about 4 or 5 months. It's hard that I was told to do this every time, and I did it every time. I wouldn't hold my baby after I breastfed my baby. I had to put my baby on a chair somewhere because I had to pump. I didn't realize it until now, and it's making me tear up a little bit because I remember forcing myself to not even think about it. I was forcing myself to not comfort my baby, hold my baby, because I had to pump so that it was for him. You know what I mean? Like, I was telling myself, yeah, your baby wants you to touch him, but you know what? This is for him. You're pumping for him. So you're sacrificing this. You're sacrificing the touching, the comfort, the snuggling, the embrace, the comforting your baby because of the bigger picture. And it wasn't until I actually really stopped pumping that I realized how much freedom that I'm getting from it, because now that I don't pump anymore, my baby actually eats less supplements on the formula. He doesn't need as much anymore. He doesn't need as much anymore, and granted, he will breastfeed from me probably lesser times, because I would breastfeed him before, as what I said in my notes, sometimes it can be over an hour. Now it is maximum probably 40 minutes. And when he eats from me from 40 minutes, the supplement isn't very high, probably about 2 ounces maximum. Just his last feeding alone, although I did give him cereal is very small. He only needed a supplement of 2 ounces after, and he fed from me only about 10 minutes total. But, however, as what I said before, the red raspberry leaf does give you the ability to push your milk down faster. So maybe it's a shorter amount of time, but the volume is higher. So you have to think of it that way. So you're not thinking, oh, my baby is under eating. Why isn't my baby eating as much supplementation? That's not the case. It's because the red raspberry leaf really does help with the letdown. This is going to be the last video that I'm going to talk about lactation, because I don't think I'm going to be changing anything else. If I will, I'll probably have another video, but for now, I think this is the last one. If I could, I've had people, and I've thought about this, I've had people ask me, would there be, mothers that might be expecting mothers, or, they want to cover their bases, like what I would have done before they start to breastfeed, just so they're not doing the same things that I did, and be more successful in regards to the breastfeeding journey. Number one, and I did speak to my husband about that too. Number one, no stress. That means no conversations that would stress me out. I don't know if I shared this before, but I was really disappointed in the fact that my husband stressed me out as soon as I gave birth to my son. The biggest hurdle, actually, because stress is the number one factor of your supply to go down. Second, this is a very, very far second, like in terms, it would be 1,000-mile difference. I probably shouldn't have overexerted in the breast pump, because that really made my nipples so sore that it hurt when I breastfed my baby. I wouldn't have taken fenugreek, because I gained between 15 to 20 pounds after I lost all my baby weight. and I lost all my baby weight and then some. I actually lost more than my baby weight. So let's just say because I only gained 9 pounds. I wasn't on a diet. I wasn't working out. I wasn't doing any of that. I just gained 9 pounds. Let's just say I started at 100 pounds. It's not, but 100 pounds, and I gained 9 pounds, right? After 10 days of breastfeeding my baby and not taking any supplements, especially fenugreek, my weight went down between 90 to 95 pounds. So I lost my baby weight and then some. I took fenugreek and my weight went high because I don't remember how much I weigh. Only when I went to the doctor a few weeks ago, I think. I think it went, let's say if it went to 90 or 95, it added 20 to 30, I think. I'm not sure with the exact number, but my point is that all came from the fenugreek. And I'm not working out right now because, as I told you, I just stopped pumping. So I am planning on working out again. I haven't worked out since a few months before I was pregnant because my husband was like, you know, it might not be good to work out when we're trying to have a baby or plan to have a baby. You want to condition your body. So, you know, I stopped working out like about 6 months to a year because I used to work out every day. 6 months to a year before we were pregnant, I think. So anyway, I would not take fenugreek. I would not take blessed thistle. I would not take nettle, stinging nettle. But here's the thing. I didn't know that at the time, you know. I wouldn't take fennel. I wouldn't take anise seed. What I would do is really just put my baby to the breast. And also, right after my baby was born, I did not keep him with me the whole time. I gave him to my husband. I think I would change that. I think I would not let go of my baby until he latches on me. Like, he would just be right here. However, we were also ushered down and sent over to my room in the hospital. Excuse me, out from the labor room. And before that happens, they also check him and stuff. So you are going to be separated. But my point is, I would probably just leave him for hours on me, unless medically needed. I wouldn't even give him to my husband. If that was the case, I would just leave him on me and then wait until he latches. And as soon as he latches, as soon as he starts breastfeeding, I think it'd be an easier journey. So if I had to cut it down to the bare minimum, it would be no stress, so stress-free. Secondly, just skin to skin. And that's it. I would just stay on that route. Do I regret ever taking fenugreek, blessed thistle, and all the other supplements that didn't work? No, I do not. Because I'm the type of person that if I don't try something and I wanted to, I would always, like, it would just be in the back of my head, like, what if you did this? What if you did that? It would have worked. It would work, right? That didn't really happen, so. I know it's a lot longer than I wanted, but I wanted to share my whole experience in regards to my breastfeeding journey, because I know I'm not the only person that goes through with all this, and I wanted to be a lot more detailed, just so there won't be any people asking me, so what really happened there? Or they're like gonna tiptoe around it. I'm okay to share about it right now because it's not easy to breastfeed when you're struggling to breastfeed to fulfill your baby's needs and you have to supplement. I know exactly how you feel. I know how painful it feels. I know that you feel you are like disappointed in yourself and disappointing your baby. And I don't think we're doing that. I think we're trying our best. I'm trying my best. So if you're doing exactly what I'm doing, despite of all the elements that are thrown at you and you're making the most out of it, you're not doing anything wrong. you're doing everything as best as possible of what you're dealt with. Also, before I forget, there might be people that wonder, did I ever drink after I gave birth? Yes. I had a few sips of beer, probably 3 or 4 sips of beer, maximum to a quarter of a beer bottle in one sitting. My baby was about between 1 to 2 months. And I wasn't breastfeeding until the morning anymore. I didn't see an increase. I didn't see any difference. I'm trying to remember. If you would like to know every time I do upload a new video, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well as the bell so you will be notified every time that happens. There should be suggested links in my other videos that you might enjoy as well, so don't forget to stop by and click those links. Thank you.